everyone, welcome back to SI Production. Welcome back to Seb. And in today's series, the business series, we have our very first guest. Hello.
Hello, Stephanie. How are you?
I'm good, are you?
Doing really good.
I'm almost tempted to call you Minister Matt.
No, that's okay.
I can just say Matt.
Just say Matt.
Okay,
yeah, I'm
okay.
with that.
Okay, so we're just gonna dive right into the questions.
Mm-hmm.
So the first question is for you to introduce yourself and your business.
Okay, well, my name is Matt Kuntz. My business that we run as a family, it's actually a family-run business, is a vending company. So we got vending machines all over our province where we go and we fill them, take the money out, and just use the income to expand our business. So
it's like a vending machine business?
Yes.
So you guys supply the vending machine and the snacks?
Yes.
Okay. So
all major contracts around Saskatchewan. And stuff,
so it's across Saskatchewan?
Saskatchewan, yes.
So how long have you been doing this vending machine business?
Well, interesting question. I've been doing it for about 21 years. We've owned it for about 18.
Okay. So 21 years, but you've owned it for 18. So you're part of...
I was part of a business that we purchased it off of.
Oh, so you're part of the business, and then at the end of the day, you bought the business.
Yes.
So the next question I have is, what inspired you to start your own business, and how did you choose this industry?
That one's tough because at the time I was working for the business, or for another company before we bought it, and I actually wanted to be an RCMP officer because we had one of our contracts was out there where they trained the RCMP, and they kept trying to recruit me to come in and all that stuff. And I don't know. To be honest, I think it was the Lord. It was just something inside of me that for some reason, because I worked for the company, I kind of knew it was for sale inside. No one, it wasn't, public knowledge at all. So I kind of knew it was for sale. But it was a lot of money and stuff. So it was kind of, just kind of knew that there could be a chance that we could purchase this thing and run it ourselves. So.
So you just kind of had that internal knowledge, and you felt like, do you feel like you were doing the right thing all the time?
I felt like it was the most beneficial, like from a financial standpoint. If I could take off with this thing, it could take me to the next level, like economically and stuff like that. That was my mindset, right? You want to just get as far ahead as you can, right? So
for sure. Did you face any challenges when you started the business? So now let's say, for example, you're thinking about buying it, you bought the company. Did you face challenges in those initial stages?
Oh, big time, yeah. Some of the big challenges were, well, at the time I was 22 years old. So I go from a guy that's down low in the company to automatically being above these guys. And I rehired a lot of the employees. So the challenge was just, they were all pretty good, but it was challenging just becoming their boss when they were my boss, right? And some of them didn't take it well, and we had a couple quit and stuff because they didn't like it and stuff like that. But so that would probably be probably the biggest challenges for me.
So especially in this day and age right now, people, I'm from Africa, and there's something about respect, and sometimes as the younger generation, we don't want to step on people's toes, right? That's right. So how do you feel like that plays a part now? For someone that's looking to venture, but it feels like such a big, at 22, that you were really, really young. You didn't really know whether you're doing the right thing, and I'm sure you got remarks that, what are you doing?
Yeah, for sure. Well, what helped me out was working for the company. It's amazing because, again, as a Christian, the Lord knew what he was taking me into. So I started off, I actually went through, in 3 years working for the company, I actually learned almost every aspect of the business, from fixing the machines to filling them to doing warehouse I didn't do the management part of it yet because obviously I wasn't brought up that far up yet, but the harder things I actually did for about a year or two. So I kind of knew what I was doing. So that part wasn't too bad, but I would say that would probably be one of the major challenges. Yeah.
So how did you go from working in the business to knowing that you wanted to purchase a business?
Oh.
That's a very big step.
I don't know, to be honest with you, other than that's why I say it had to have been the Lord because I didn't even enjoy doing it, to be honest with you. I knew it was just kind of like, well, again, because I'm the one filling the machines, doing that stuff, right, at the bottom. But I kind of went into it like, I'll make money, and then as time goes on, I'll move on to something else, and that's where the RCB. And then to have the opportunity to just not go to school and I don't know, just kind of own a business. It just was luring to me, and yeah, I think that's. But I have to say the Lord. I'd have to say the Lord, right? Yeah.
So you didn't go to university?
No post-secondary education.
Okay, just high school.
Yeah, straight out of high school, I was actually working for a kitchen business, and I went straight from there to this job. So it's only been my second job ever.
Oh,
so,
wow.
Yeah.
And you just bought the company.
Yeah, I just bought the company.
Making big moves.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, so then what do you feel like were your strengths, right? Like I feel like for everyone to have go into any business, or for even you to think about a business, there are some certain strengths that you had.
Yeah.
That you felt like you felt comfortable enough.
Yeah.
To make that big move.
Well, I would say one of my strengths, I can manage. I'm really good at like micromanaging and stuff like that. Like even the job I did before that, I became a supervisor within a year, and I was the youngest supervisor they've ever, gave a promotion to. So the same type of thing happened with this business, except we bought it, and that kind of promoted me. But the Lord knew that I could micromanage things, so I started training how to manage this type of business, and I would say management would probably be my number one. Work ethic would be another. You got to be able to work hard, and another thing is stress, being able to deal with stress, the amount of stress that comes with it. And that's not always easy. But yeah, I would say those would probably be some of my strengths.
So the next question is, how do you stay consistent in the business? Like you've been doing this for 18 years. Have you had time you're like, let me just walk away?
Yeah, I mean, because it's very labor intensive and stuff like that. There have been times where I've been just like, I don't know how much I can do it anymore. And see what happened was before we bought the company, or when we bought the company, I wasn't following the Lord like I am now. So what happened was, well, 4 years after we owned the company, I gave my life to the Lord and Jesus, if anybody's wondering which God, Jesus Christ. And he changed my heart in such a way that I now have a passion for like missions and stuff like that. So that's very challenging, because with this business, it ties up all my time, right? So it's very hard for me to go do missions somewhere, or go, take a trip even somewhere. So I would say consistency is just going to the Lord and saying, Lord, I'll continue doing it until you call me out of it. I don't mind. I still enjoy it, but it's just more of my heart's in a different
posture.
Posture following the Lord. If I wasn't following the Lord, I would just keep doing it, right? Type of thing. So I guess that's how I stay consistent.
So what does your typical day look like? Like for people that are looking into like the vending machine business, or even have like, what does your typical day look like?
Well, again,
or week.
It's changed. Like at one point we had 25 employees working for us, and because of COVID, because of technology, it's actually allowed us to condense it, where I actually do a lot more of the labor work now again, where I'll go and fill machines and just do the micromanaging. So my typical day would be go fill some vending machines, fix whatever I need to fix, come back, emails, answer emails, do meetings with people that want to have vending. And it usually works out to about a 12-hour day, somewhere around there.
So you have to fix the machines, you have to deliver the snacks,
you
have to reply to emails, all the logistics part of it.
Yes.
I know you have a warehouse here too, right?
Yeah, we have a warehouse here.
Okay.
It's a lot. There's a lot of goes into the operations. So. And then you got to remember too, it's not just me. It's my brother, my sister, my parents.
Like
we're all doing the same thing, right? So, you're looking at about anywhere from 10 to 12 hours a day. Yeah.
So do you advise us to have a business?
Well, we'll get into that. Yeah, I would say this. Yeah, I mean it depends. I mean, every business is different.
Sure.
There's less labor intensive businesses that you could probably do like online stuff like that, where it won't take up as much as your time. It's just with this business, it's very time consuming. Yes.
No, I actually feel every business is time consuming.
It can be, yeah.
It just depends on what the area of focus in that business is.
Yes.
Like even this.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. Like
for
it's just
sure.
everyone that just has their different labor market. Like
that's right.
But it's basically
that's
the
right.
same.
It's your life. It becomes your life, and when you're an employee, it's you don't go home and take your work with you. When you own your own business, you take your work with you. It's your life, right?
So how do you balance that, family and
Well, that was a learning curve because, like, as you know, I mean, for what, 12, 15 years out of the, or 13 years out of the business, I was single. So it was a lot easier. I just went and worked, did whatever I wanted to do. Right now, I have or I've got a wife, I got kids. I just have to come back and just, let it go. Like, I'll finish whatever I do. I finish it tomorrow, and I spend time with the kids, and because it's obviously it's more important. You can always make money. You can always do whatever, right? But time with your kids, time with family, it goes away really fast, right? They grow up really fast. I don't want to miss that. So,
how important is building relationship in your business? Like,
again, it's it's very important. You want to have good relationship with your customers. Customer service in this job is very important. We've actually lost a lot of accounts because of customer service at times, but we've also gained a lot because of it. I would say too, like, having the Lord on your side too has really helped, where a lot of times I don't even have to look for stuff. Like, it actually just comes to me. I'm not saying you do that with every business. I'm just saying in my business particularly, the Lord has really blessed us and helped us in that area. The other thing is this, with vending, there's not a lot of vending companies. It's us and one more. So there's not a lot of competition, in Saskatchewan. With other businesses, you could have 15, 20 different companies. We don't have a lot of competition. So it makes it easier that way too.
So I remembered my question.
Yes.
So you guys are called Queen City Vending.
Yes.
Have you ever thought of changing the name, or was that a name that came from the original people?
It's the original. No, we actually named it ourselves.
Okay.
Yeah, and we actually own two companies. They're separate. One is in Saskatoon, is called Royal Vending, and the one here in Regina is called Queen City.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we've never had to change it again after.
Yeah. So why did you guys pick Royal and Queen?
I don't even know. Like my we're not really good at like that kind of stuff, like naming stuff. So I forget who came up with it. It wasn't me. It was I think it was my brother, and it just stuck with us because Regina's called the Queen City. So it was just one of those things, we just kept it. And,
I mean, they are good names. I was thinking, I was like, why did we like a family name or like...
Well, and we also, I guess, And the other thing is too, we wanted to make sure no one else had that type of name, right? So, we're just Queen City. And...
Okay. What advice do you have for aspiring entrepreneurs or someone that's looking to start their own business?
That is a good question. I would say, do your homework. Don't jump into something. Don't make hasty decisions. Don't think about just money. I want to make money because, like I said to you before, it becomes your life. So if you're in it and you don't have a record of like holding two things, you might have to really just make sure this is something you want to do, because when you get into it, you're in it for the long haul, and that's the way you got to look at it. Is it worth it? It can be, There's a lot of benefits to owning your own business. There's a lot of cons to it too, where, like I said, I don't get holidays like a normal employee would, right? Where they get 3 weeks to 6 weeks or whatever, where I have to really micromanage when I take my time, all that stuff. But I would say, don't make hasty decisions. The other thing is don't be scared to take a chance. Like, if you want something out of life, you have to be willing to actually take those chances too. Like I remember when we first bought it, because for people who don't know, it was in the millions to buy this thing, right? And we didn't have a lot of money. We come from just an average family, and I mean that's a whole story in itself. But what always got me was I would be scared that, oh my gosh, it's gonna go under. Like our payments were over 10 grand a month, like to the bank, right? So there were times where you'd really get stressed out and go, oh, are we going to make it this month? But now that we did it, it's just like, it worked out. Like, just trust. And like, what's the worst that can happen? Things happen and you just move on to the next thing if something bad happens, right? Like, but it's people that don't take that chance when they might regret it.
Yeah,
right?
because I can even think, if you didn't take that chance at that time, like your life would have gone a different route.
100%. Yeah, I could be in a different place in the country because would have been trying to be an RCMP, right? So, it can change everything. So,
how did that affect you guys during the COVID?
Oh man, that would be one of the major challenges. I mean, no one experienced.
Yeah, because I was like, I'm sure
every business, like we're lucky that because I know people that actually their businesses went under and like they spent their livelihood. Setting it up. We were really two things. Number one, we were financially stable at the time because we'd owned it for 15 years already. So the payments were made. We weren't in debt, that type of thing. That was number one. Number two was just learning how to condense it and get done the things that you needed to get done. Like we had to condense some areas. We had to lay off people, which unfortunately happened, but so that actually, again, with the condensing, that's what allowed us to save money, right? We actually had a warehouse in Saskatoon for the separate. We actually condensed it into one warehouse here in Regina, which saved us, thousands and thousands of dollars, right? So, just again, just asking the Lord for wisdom. What do I do, Lord? How do we get through this? Obviously, the government helped out, with loans and stuff like that for people, but. The Lord got us through it. Like I'm convinced if it wasn't for Him, there's a good chance we probably wouldn't own it anymore. So,
second to the last question.
Yes.
So when you were about to make that big step of like purchasing the company, like were there any did you face any discouragement, backlash? Like were there people that were like, you should not even, because usually when it comes to those big changes,
for sure,
it's not everyone that's on the same
page.
And
I would say this: a lot of people, and that goes for anything in life, getting a mortgage, doing anything where you're taking out big loans. People get scared. They look at the worst possible scenario that can happen right away, and they say I think they said 90% of the time it doesn't even happen. Like in anything in life, right? They always look at what's the worst that could happen, right? The most discouraging thing for me was it took about 5 banks that we went to. We got turned down by 4 banks because it was so much money that we had to take out. And again, we're not a wealthy family, but it was the 5th bank that actually just said yes to us and allowed us to. And we actually got a cheaper interest rate too with that bank. But between that, so the banks rejecting us or turning us down. And just, there was people that were like, I don't think you should do this. Like, it's a lot of money. And but again, just knowing your heart, trusting God. I mean, again, at the time I wasn't following Him, but I knew God. Just trusting that we're making, looking at numbers. The numbers kept checking out, like, it makes this much. We've got the payments there. So you really have to do your homework to make sure that, the numbers are balancing and they're making, sense, right? So the other thing I would say is this, and this is just for anybody that's starting a business. One thing that can happen when you start your own business is you start making money, you can get greedy. And what I mean by that is you can start paying yourself a bunch of money and before you let it run for a couple years before, like at the time I was making, $40,000 a year working for the company. My wage didn't change when I owned the company for about 2 or 3 years after owning the company because we wanted to make sure that it's stable before we, So wisdom would say, just take your time. You can always make yourself make more money, but just to make sure that it's stable, because that's your bread and butter. When that goes, your income is gone, right? So you want to make sure that's sustained. So I would say that would be some good advice.
Okay, so that's a good advice. For me, I didn't know that, but that's a good advice. Last questions. So we're going to talk about 3 things: lessons, successes, and final words. So let's start from the good one. Let's start from success. So what has been more highlighted moments for you since you started the business, like successes?
Sustaining a business for 18 years would be number 1 for me. Like even when we talked to our banker, they said that most even restaurant business owners, if they last 5 years, they're doing really well. So for us to last 18 years, glory to God, that'd probably be the number 1 success. I would say, and not just that, but keeping the same size that we are, or like keeping the same amount of money or more income coming in would be a major success for us.
Okay, that's really, really good. Then lessons.
I could go off forever on that. I cut just a couple things like family comes first. Put God first in your life. For those that believe in God. I would also say treat your employees the way you'd want to be treated. Try to take care of your employees, because the better the morale, the better they work and all that stuff. You want to treat them like they're part of the family. That's what we've tried to do, is treat them like they're part of the family. And just don't. This is a big good one too. The highs and the lows. Don't get too high. Don't get too low. In every circumstance, just take it the way it is and run with it. And yeah, I would say some good lessons. Don't be scared to make it to go after something. You know, trust your heart.
Trust your heart. That's a big one.
Yeah.
Okay. So final words.
Go for it. I mean, if that's, I mean, if you've done your homework and you feel this is the way you're supposed to go, I mean, you have one life to live. I mean, you don't want to live in a life where you have all these regrets. Just if you're doing it, say, like, you got use wisdom. You know, like I said, do your homework, talk to people about it, family members that care about you. Do you think this is a good idea? If, you know, if you can show them numbers, all that kind of stuff, or what it looks like, and just go for it. Like, yeah, like, I mean, you can always make money. You can always lose money.
True.
But you can't have time back, right? So if you feel like this is what you want to do with your life, then I would say go for it.
Well, thank you so much.
For sure, thank you.
These couple of minutes, I've learned so many things. Wow, it's really interesting to see the dynamics of a business, right? Like, you know, it even makes me reflect on my employer.
Yes.
And how, like, we just go to a normal 9 to 5, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there's so much in the business that someone is carrying on the shoulder, right? It was really good to, like, get to know that. And yeah, thank you so much for coming on the channel.
Thank you, Stephanie. Great to be on your channel.
We appreciate you so much. And yeah, I praise Almighty harvest for you.
Yeah, thank you.
Lord, you would never labor in vain. I mean, the Lord has seen you through, and He will continue to see you through.
Yeah,
and you know, it's gonna be a business that it will be generational, right? Because of that step of faith, right?
Thank
you so much.
Thank you.
And thank you everyone for watching. And I will catch you on the next series. Bye.